All right, welcome everybody to the 4th annual Travis Strukin Memorial Tournament. Here in our championship match, we have Clayton Moore, our number 6 seed, against Adam Schleicher, our number 2 seed today. We had 33 bowlers in the event today. The Travis Strukin Memorial is becoming one of the most popular stops on tour. Little Falls Bowling Center tried putting out our Mineral Light pattern that we came up with over the summer. I want to shout out to Steve Cross and Dave Worsfield for all their help over the summer putting together our 4 oil patterns. You'll be able to find those both on Facebook and at our website at sweepertourmn.com. Today is a 41-foot oil pattern, Mineral Light. It seemed like most of the guys were playing the middle part of the lane, and that seemed to be the best. But Adam was kind of a unique anomaly in regards of finding the roll that he needed to on the outside part of the lane. If you notice, Clayton was definitely through the middle part of the lane on his first shot with his 10-pin. 9 spare for Clayton up in the first frame. Adam with his 2/8 spare attempt coming up right here. Adam converts the spare. Adam was a plus 145 over after 6 games today, which averages out to be just about a 226 average, somewhere right in that boat. The Mineral Light pattern is a 5.5 to 1 ratio oil pattern, so it's mediocre. Your typical house patterns are around 11 to 12 to 1. Your really tough sports shots are more like 2 to 1, 3 to 1. So we found it to actually, with the wood lane surface, be a unique experience as well, just because of the variances that happen. Oil tends to move around more on wood. Adam once again comes up a little bit light there on his first ball, leaves himself a 2-pin.
And do gotta say another right.
Oh yeah, Henry. Henry Trotwood, right, ladies and gentlemen.
I do gotta say I was very impressed with this pattern. Even though I was league qualifier, I was more impressed with the fact that the multiple angles there were to play on this pattern.
Sure, yeah. Henry finished at plus 207 over. Just outstanding bowling all day. And I appreciate that actually, because I think a lot of thought went into the patterns by both Kegel with Steve Cross and Dave Wurzfield out of Cold Spring to allow varying different types of players with their role to be able to apply themselves to each pattern that we have individually unique.
I know I had to start between 3rd and 4th arrow, typical for a power player myself. I finished around the 5th arrow, but at the same time, I also had guys around 3rd arrow still, even into game 6. And as you can see, Adam, the outsides were very playable if
absolutely.
You had the right look.
Adam's, right around probably 8 to 10, somewhere in that boat. And I just think the combination with his ball speed plus his axis rotation, it seems to work well.
And the owners of the bowling alley were a little concerned with the amount of oil the Mineral Light had. They were concerned it was going to burn up. Well, knowing Little Falls Bowling here for a long time, it doesn't necessarily burn up fast on wood lanes. It carries down on wood lanes, and that's what we've seen. It didn't burn up at all. I was surprised.
Sure,
I expected more burn than what there is.
Yeah, actually it was unique because typically your end pairs that fall along the walls seem to have a drier area on the lane compared to lanes that are in the middle part of the bowling center. And it just seemed actually today that all that oil in the middle of the lane held up pretty well. And we weren't experiencing the blowout check spot that we get in so many other tournament patterns. Clayton has 40 up in the second with a 9 spare. Adam here on the approach in the 3rd frame with 19 in the first with 9-0.
I do believe Adam is throwing that new Match Pearl from Storm, as Clayton's throwing the Motive Octane Burn.
Oh yes. Got to make a big shout out to Adam. He started bowling the sweepers last year as a senior in high school. He got a few of them under his belt. He enjoyed the format, enjoyed the camaraderie he was able to have amongst the folks. that bowl the tournaments. The one thing that we preach a lot of is just kind of the open environment. We don't like to have a very standoffish environment in these tournaments. So Adam, with a strike again, now first double in our match, Adam takes a 10-pin lead. He said that he really enjoyed it, and this tournament here today for him is actually his first tournament that he made a cut in. And here he finds himself now with a chance to win the first tournament that he made a cut in, which is something that is a pretty unique experience, I think, for him.
And I tell you what, it's not easy sitting around for, what do you get, 2 buys? Getting up. Ooh, Glenn goes through the face. 6, 7, 10. I will have to note the top 8 finishers here as Ryan Schleicher round up our top 8 by 1 pin over Brandon Molitor, the Little Falls forward.
Yes.
Then it went Dalton Lepke, number 7, number 6, as you see, Clayton Moore. Adam Hagelin, number 5, had a thriller match against Brady Stearns. Came down to the 11th ball where ultimately Adam did not strike to move on. Then we can move on to Brady Stearns, which just lost the previous match in a thriller roll-off against Adam Schleicher.
Yes.
9th and 10th.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam has found himself in a couple peculiar matches through match play, none more so than the last one against Brady Stearns, in which they both tied at $1.77 apiece on lane 7 and 8. Had a 9th and 10th frame roll-off, and Adam actually got a Brooklyn strike, the first one in the 10. That kind of swung the pendulum of momentum in his favor. He proceeded to punch the last 2, forcing Brady to have to strike out.
And as that was going on, Clayton Moore was kicking me down 279 to 195. And we go to our number 3 qualifier, Carl Campa. Then it was Adam Schleicher. Then it was myself, Henry Truplin, at number 1. And the scores actually weren't too spread apart. You know, the middle of the pack, they're pretty close in score-wise.
20 people or more averaged 200 today on this pattern.
Which is pretty good compared to normal. But in years past, we used a house shot here. And in my opinion, this plays easier than our house shot for Little Falls, in my opinion. Well, some people might disagree.
I would imagine that the lead qualifier of the tournament might say something like that.
Hey, I bowl league here, I can tell you that. I averaged 199 last year in Saturday nights. Yeah, that's embarrassing. But Alan Mary really fixed up the bowling alley. You know, just a little stuff over the years. And I've noticed this year the back ends have been a lot cleaner than previous years. I don't know if that was an update with the oiler they got, because I know he was talking to Kegel about updates and stuff like that. But that is what I really noticed, was the clean back ends this year.
You know, and I think you were able to notice that, especially early on this pattern. There was a pretty big transition in terms of how quickly the ball picked the lane up at the end of the oil pattern early on in the day. The ball seemed to really hook off the spot after it got to the end of the pattern. And as we went through the day, the more and more we were able to get that oil down lane, it seemed like the scorers then were able to come up. They were all over the board. We had Brandon Keekley actually run the front 10 earlier today. We had a couple 260 games, and then we had Clayton's 279 game there in match play. But for the most part, we kept everybody tightly together, and ultimately a 230 game can move you multiple spots in the standing sheet. And so that, I think, is actually, that kind of maneuverability is what you want in a tournament such as this.
Yeah, if we take a look at it, Brandon Keekley actually shot 279 the same game Adam Hagelin shot he shot 289, Adam Hagelin shot 279.
Yes.
And so that was Larry Birkendahl, but I'd tell you, I had a really great look on this pattern with a ball that flares 7 inches.
Wow.
Yes, that allowed the back ends not to be so angular for someone like me. I was able to keep in a relatively straighter zone around the 3rd, 4th arrow for me, 18 miles an hour.
Yes, definitely. I mean, he and Henry have a lot of ball speed in comparison to the average player. But at the same time, that's surprising, because I would have thought that a lower track would have helped blend this pattern for the average person. So the fact that you were able to use a ball that flared out that much, big testament to you.
Yes, and the problem with a low flaring ball on a shot like this with crisp back ends, it wants to go left once it gets in.
Almost immediate. Yep. Yeah. As soon as it gets to the transition.
But someone like Brandon Keekley.
So we want to just zoom in here real quick so that way everybody can get an update on the score. We have 94 in the fifth frame.
Man, give me that.
We have 94 in the fifth frame for Adam Schleicher with a double up. Clayton has a turkey up with 66 in the third frame, in the fourth frame.
Really great view there.
Yeah, sorry. Amateur cameraman at work.
Sorry, I normally do it. But let's talk about our next stop in 23rd in Monticello of October, correct?
Yeah, October 23rd, we'll be back down at River City Extreme for the second consecutive year and third time overall in the 6 years of the Super Tour of Central Minnesota, the Brunswick Super Tour of Central Minnesota.
And one thing to remember, folks, is there are 4 patterns to choose from, correctly?
Yes, we have 4 different patterns. This has now been our second pattern that we've used out of the 4.
And just remember, if
we don't necessarily need to get through all the patterns before we repeat.
Yep.
So I did inform Monticello that they could potentially use the pattern that we used in September at their place if they would like to. We used the Crown Jewel pattern in September.
And is there a way that people can look up these patterns?
Yeah, you can access the patterns. We have them on our Facebook page. And we will also provide them on our webpage at sweepertourmn.com.
Let's try to get a better look here where Clayton's setting that down at the arrows. As he gets up. Yes. Just left of the 4th arrow. And in a different time zone, Adam is setting it down right around 2nd.
Yeah, he's actually utilizing probably 8 board. And I think that's actually pretty unique, given the fact that Clayton is 22 at the arrows, and Adam is probably 12 at the arrows, if that.
Oh, let's see right here. Yeah, something like that.
Just 2 different styles of bowling that both can result in the same situation and at the pins, and that's basically what we were trying to get out of these oil patterns. Like I said, we wanted a variety of players to be able to play the lanes in a variety of ways. And if you can't see this right now, given the fact that we have a 10-board difference between the 2 players in the championship match.
At the arrows.
Yes.
Which is ridiculous. But that one's a little inside. That slaps the 10 out. But the more impressive thing is all these patterns are similar in difficulty, volume of oil. The only real difference is length.
Well, we have patterns that go in terms of volume of oil. We have them ranging anywhere from 23 milliliters all the way up to 28 milliliters. So we definitely, I think, have a variety of volume, in addition to the fact that we have patterns that range anywhere between 37 feet to 48 feet. Adam there has...
You can go 244.
244 we're looking at to
246. Correct? Wow.
Yes, we could.
Forces Clayton to double now. Gets up there. Alright,
That's all that you can ask for. We have a 244 by Adam Schleicher in the championship match. Clayton now stands up in the 10th with a potential opportunity to throw a turkey to win. A turkey 9 gives him the victory by 1 pin, and a double 9 gives him
there you go.
a victory by 1 pin, and a double 8 is a tie.
Another tie. And I don't think we've had a tie in championship match. Never.
In 6 years, we have not had that opportunity. We have not had that happen.
Let's see how deep Clayton is. Uh-oh. Time to fit.
Clayton with the first one.
And if anyone is curious about bowling these sweepers, they can always contact.
Yes,
Who?
you can contact myself, Ryan Schleicher. You can email me to sign up, scry0402@gmail. Otherwise, you can contact Nevin Brady at nbrady -13 @hotmail.com, I believe.
Is there a website you can go to?
Yes,
the force.
you can. He gets the trip 4 in order to make it interesting against Adam here. So now 9 or more, and Clayton is your champion on this ball. But otherwise, you can always access our tournament schedule via our website at sweepertourmn.com. You can also sign up through our website at sweepertourmn.com. You can also sign up via Facebook by messaging us directly at the Brunswick Sweeper Tour of Central Minnesota on Facebook. There's a multitude of ways in order for individuals to sign up.
I suppose there's one last thing we should talk about: the special events this year. How are those going to work?
We'll just mention that briefly here after Clayton. 246 to 244 in our championship match. Arguably one of the most impressive championship matches we've had.
Let's get a little closer look.
Special events this year are limited entry events in which we're mandating that individuals sign up previous to that. We will have more information of those events on our website and on Facebook, so look for that in the months to come. We want to congratulate Clayton Mora on his victory at the 4th annual Travis Strucken Memorial Tournament here in Little Falls. We have to mention Travis's family. His mom Sue was down earlier. We shared some words. This tournament is all in respect and honor of Travis and his family. He was an impactful member of the bowling community here. His life was taken tragically in a car accident a few years ago, just shortly after he was in high school at the time, I believe.
Yes, he was. I was actually in the middle of math class when I got the word that Travis had passed.
Sure. So it's something that hits home with so many people in the bowling community, and we just are so honored that we're able to come up here and have a tournament in his honor. So once again, we want to congratulate Clayton Moore on his victory at the Travis Strucken Memorial. And once again, take a look at this video on Facebook or on YouTube. Shout us out on Facebook if anybody out there would like to bowl one of these events. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.